Hi there guys, welcome back to a new episode. In this one we are looking at HCMC and the potential growth that HCMC could see going into the next week. Well, of course guys, you already know that I am not a financial advisor, but in this episode I do intend to give you all of my personal opinions and all that kind of good stuff. If you may enjoy hearing somebody else's opinion though, please do leave a like and subscribe because we are trying to grow the channel and we talk about HCMC stock all the time, so it would be massively appreciated. With that being said though, let's jump straight into the episode and not waste a second more. But yeah guys, the first thing that I want to talk about is how HCMC has been moving over the past 5 days. We have seen a lot of volatility and we have seen a big increase in share price. So far we are up by about 136%, and all the way up to the highs you can see we reached about an increase of 233%. So obviously from about this point here on the Thursday, we saw a bit of a sell-off by about 29%. I think that's not the worst thing in the world. I think a lot of people were panicking about that, but realistically looking at what we have seen and of course why, it does make a lot of sense. Let's face it, it's gone up by about 200% in just a matter of about 3 days. It was bound to sell off by a small amount as people are probably taking pretty massive profits already, and I think that is to be expected. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. So of course going into Friday, which was the last day of trading, we can see things actually started to flatten out towards about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and even from there towards the end of session we climbed up by about 5%. Now in my personal opinion guys, HCMC is definitely a decent stock. It carries quite a bit of risk with it, I'm sure you already know that, and I would make sure to do research before buying it, but ultimately guys, at the current price for what we are seeing for this stock, I think it's one of the best prices that we have been seeing so far. I think it's probably the best price that we may see in some time. So guys, if you don't already have a position, or if you are even looking to place a position, now may actually be the perfect time, because we haven't seen it at this price for quite a significant amount of time, and now that it's gone down a bit, I think it's a fantastic thing. I think going into the next week we definitely will be seeing some more growth, as a lot of people are anticipating good things for the stock, and personally I am with them. I think this one does have some potential. I think going forwards I would be happy to hold this one for the next few months just to see what happens. Now of course we have many catalysts coming up. There's an apparent earnings date on February the 17th according to Market Beat. Now of course this one has not been formally confirmed, but it is expected to happen on February the 17th due to previous earnings reports. Now don't get me wrong guys, this may not happen on the 17th, but ultimately we are looking to have some earnings dates coming out pretty soon, whether it's this Wednesday or whether it's some point in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Earnings are speculated to come out soon. Now don't get me wrong, there is no guarantee of that happening, but it's just another thing which really could, help to grow this one going forward. So of course this could be a very interesting time to buy right now, and before those earnings do come out, if they are positive and if you can anticipate them being positive, and personally I do believe they probably will be quite positive, and if that is the case I think it will have another big effect on the share price as more people will be happy to buy in. But as the current price guys, I definitely don't think now is the worst buy point. I think it's probably one of the best that we have seen in a while. I'd be pretty happy to add more to my position going forwards at this current price. So another thing that I want to talk about guys is obviously the lawsuit going forwards. So we have this lawsuit against Philip Morris International for one of their patented products. Now I think this one is very interesting because this patented product would apparently add a lot of money to the the worth of HCMC. And if they do actually win that case, it really could influence the share price in a very, very positive light. Now don't get me wrong, there is another factor to it, which is of course the fact that they may not win, and if they don't win, that could have a negative effect because a lot of people are looking for this one for that short-term profit, and of course getting that money off of this lawsuit. Now another thing is, there is still long-term potential in this company, so even if they don't win, maybe it's not the biggest deal, but if you are willing to get in for this big catalyst, yes, it could have a huge effect, don't get me wrong, and it probably may have a huge effect in the fact that they could win. But on the other hand guys, we do need to factor in that risk, which is a case that they may not win. But overall guys, if you are optimistic enough to think that they will, this could be a decent opportunity to make a bit of money on the markets, but of course make sure to do your own research. But looking at what the company actually does, they have two sides to the business, apparently now 3, and I've not seen this part on the website before, but I think it's very interesting. But the ones that we already know about and we have talked about in previous episodes is the HCMC local fresh organic stores. So that's very interesting, and it basically provides people with an alternate version of like a supermarket, or at least a grocery market or grocery store, and which basically provides obviously healthier choices, which is very interesting. You can read about what it does on their website down here, but that's just the easiest way to summarize it. Looking at the other side of the business, we have the 9 vape stores, so they actually own vape stores as well, which is very interesting. This is obviously a growing market. I think this definitely could have an effect on this one going forwards if they can expand the number that they have, and of course if they can keep growing both sides of this business, it could have a good effect going forwards as well. Now, looking at this new side, apparently, we have the HCMC Intellectual Property Holdings. Now, like I've said, I've not really seen this one before, but apparently it's just a company formed, the whole subsidiary of its intellectual property part, to hold the property's assets and, of course, intellectual assets as well. So this subsidiary will own all of the patents and trademarks and other intellectual property of HCMC. So I think this is a very interesting thing going forwards. I think this is kind of where the Philip Morris lawsuit does come into this one, because it's talking about the patents and that kind of good stuff. So I think they actually are anticipating this one going quite well. And of course, on top of that, it just shows that they do have patents and they are working towards growing the amount that they have. And this could also be another good factor going forwards. So realistically, just looking at the price that we have been seeing, and of course the catalyst that we do have coming up, I think if you are willing to buy HCMC, now is probably the best, or at least one of the best prices that we have been seeing so far. I definitely would be considering adding more to my position on Tuesday when this one opens up, as I do see a lot of potential for this one going forwards. But at the current price, it's extremely small in price, and of course it will be going all over the place. I'm sure you already know that, but the bigger position that you have, the more speculative it is. But you know what, guys, with the price being so low, personally, even if you weren't willing to invest in this one, or at least if you weren't too confident on this one, I would definitely put in about $10 to $20 worth, minimum, just because it's so cheap. If it wins, it could do a very good thing for your portfolio, and of course if it loses, then you can afford to lose 20 quid hopefully, and it wouldn't be the worst effect. But of course, make sure to do your own research, and even with this one, guys, I would definitely only risk what I can afford to lose, as there is the ultimate chance that this one could drop if that lawsuit does not go in a positive way. But personally, I do have a position on this one. I've talked about it before. I do see a lot of faith going forwards for this one, as I definitely do have the potential to see this one go up in price by a significant amount. So guys, looking at HCMC into the next week, I think it will be in the green. I think now is definitely one of the best points that we have been seeing, and if you are considering buying this one or buying more of this one, I think now is definitely one of the best prices that we've seen in a very long time. So guys, tell me what you're doing with HCMC down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. Thanks for watching the video though, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye until then.